Mark. So we're going to go ahead and dive into some pretty fun features that a lot of clients are kind of excited about. They are a little bit fluffy on the edges, but nonetheless, they're great tools to help us to be able to collaborate, present better within our organization. So first, around Microsoft Teams, we are getting some additional updates. If you haven't seen these already, you will get them later this month, is around the presenter mode. So if you guys remember, when we're able to share our screen, you could have an overlay of your webcam, and it was kind of a fixed size. So now you have the ability to change the size of the actual presenter that's being overlaid, and you can move it from the left side to the right side of the screen, depending on the content that you're presenting. You also have the ability to pin and hide your own video from your view, not from other people's view, but from your view. So if you're presenting and you want to hide your webcam because it's distracted or whatever, you can actually pin it and or hide it. We have some new forms, apps, and polls that are within Teams. We presented on this, I think, last tech update. We're now getting a word cloud poll as an option. We have additional mute notification options, and then the together mode that a lot of us have used for like all hands meetings and larger organizational meetings. We have some additional changes to those. You have some additional scenes, and you can enforce that together mode view for everyone in the meeting. Before it was just for your presentation layer. So now you can actually move the meeting over to together mode. Other additional updates around Microsoft Teams, around collaboration. So your chats on the left-hand side, you can actually have some filters, and now we have some options. So you can filter down your chats by unread, chats, meetings, apps, and muted. So you can get to meetings if you, for instance, a really common use case here is we recorded that meeting and where's the recording, right? So you can come here, filter down by meetings or to the meetings chat. So really handy feature there. There are shared channels and a shared channel is, I'm going to say it in a very simplistic way that's going to be inaccurate, but shared channels is external access to a secure team through just a channel. Before you get too excited about that though, do reach out to us and we can explain exactly what's happened on the back end. Roth and I think, are both a little bit in agreement. We're not quite sure this is 100% prime time or should be carefully considered before being turned on within your tenants. And we can talk about that with you guys and show you what we've identified on our side, okay?
Amen.
You get suggested replies in chats. So if you're really bad at communicating like I am, now I just hit the predefined chat replies and everyone thinks I'm listening to them. So really great stuff. Notification drawer within iOS. Local time is now added on contact cards. So this is actually kind of cool. So if you click on a contact, like the little like notificator or the icon of the individual, and we've seen that common contact card throughout the interface, it now includes that user's time zone. And then we also have some UI adjustments to the chat to make it more stacked, so it's more dense and you can see more chats. It doesn't look as good from a UI perspective, but if you need to see more content on a single screen, that chat density setting is pretty handy. All right, let's hop into OneDrive. I just have a few OneDrive updates for you guys, nothing too crazy. And to be, well, I should always, well, I'm going to share my opinion anyway. You know, Microsoft muddies this water a little too much between OneDrive and collaboration, and I think a lot of these features actually generate more confusion than not. But regardless, here's some updates. So you can actually pin your shared libraries that have been shared with you, and you can pin them within the OneDrive interface for quick access. So that's pretty slick. The other thing, if you guys haven't noticed already, SharePoint document libraries, when you navigate to them, it now has a drop-down list off to the top of the library name. And you can actually have this quick navigation in between the libraries within that given site. That same functionality has been added to OneDrive. And so now when I'm in OneDrive, I can see those SharePoint libraries that are associated to a standard Teams chat as well as private channels and quickly navigate into between those libraries from the OneDrive interface. Pretty interesting stuff. And then the last update is Microsoft making it a little bit easier for you to switch between your personal OneDrive and your OneDrive for business in the event that you've been authenticated in between the two, and now you can kind of switch between the interface a little bit easier. And that's all right. Let's talk about Yammer and Microsoft Viva shortly right after this. So just a quick Yammer updates for you Yammer people that's part of that Yammer cult. So retention policies for Yammer messages, that's rolling out this month. You guys are getting a dark mode. So if you liked Yammer and you were nerdy enough to enjoy dark mode, you're like on cloud 9 right now. And then bookmarks are now available in Yammer. There you go. There's the Yammer update. Mark was surprised I even had a conversation around Yammer. All right, let's talk about Microsoft Viva. If you guys don't know what Viva is, you may have been in a rock or a cave or something. So learn up on Viva. There's a lot of cool movement from Microsoft side. I'm excited about the 5th module coming out later this year around OKRs and KPIs that integrates within Viva. We can talk about that some other time, but here's the updates around the 4 modules that we have today. Really just 3 updates around 3 of the modules. So the first is connections. If you guys remember, Viva Connections is when we expose a SharePoint intranet within the Teams interface as almost like a Teams app. We have an additional web part, a top news card web part, which will just grab news, aggregates, and then presents slightly different. For many of you that may not know, there is there is a Viva Connections mobile setup that you can configure for your tenant in the event that you guys are kind of moving forward with your intranet living within Microsoft Teams. Viva Insights, this is the employee well-being module of Viva. We now have shared plans, focus plans. And so now instead of just booking focus time for myself within my calendar, I can actually invite my team and we can have shared focus time. It's almost like reading time for adults. So take a look at that, Viva Insights, shared focus time, focus plans. And then last, around Viva Topics, I'm super excited about this. So back in the day, one of the key things around Viva Topics was our ability to get the topic cards showing up across multiple interfaces. This is the beginning of that. So by utilizing hashtags within Outlook for the web, if I do a hashtag and then I type, I'll get a prompt and I can view or select a Viva topic based upon the hashtag that I just created. And it will make that hashtag a hyperlink for the other recipients, and they can mouse over and get the topic card summary and then ultimately navigate to the topic card itself. Now, this update here I have for Outlook, I need to have a correction here. This hashtag capability is also coming to Microsoft Teams, I believe, later this month. So it may have gotten pushed, but it's coming close. And then lastly, we get topic insights showing up within our search and intelligence center within our admin areas. So we can actually see some analytics around topics showing up for users across search. So pretty exciting things. Topics is becoming a bigger and bigger deal. And it's a great play for you organizations that are struggling with how do we have a knowledge base within SharePoint. I really feel that Microsoft Topics, Viva Topics, is Microsoft's first big play in that area. Let's talk about these updates. And there's a lot here. And for those that are utilizing SharePoint as a document management and a knowledge management platform, I'm really excited about some of these, and I'm not excited about others, and I'll explain why. But the first one there is co-authoring. So we had co-authoring before. That's not the update. The update is that documents that we have sensitivity labels around for that are encrypted around information protection, you can now co-author on, which is actually was a major gap once we implemented information protection. So that is a huge win for collaboration. The second taxonomy column, we had taxonomy columns in the past. The UI wasn't quite updated, and so Microsoft has made some adjustments for the modern libraries to be able to allow us to modify the taxonomy column from within that modern interface. We have some new list templates that are available. So kind of take a look at those. Microsoft Lists now has an Android app, so you can access your SharePoint list from within a single interface within Android. If you haven't noticed in your SharePoint sites, the app bar on the left-hand side has evolved, and it now includes a lists area and another button to create a bunch of stuff, all from the app bar. Keep in mind, if you have restricted and removed the permissions for users to provision SharePoint sites and Microsoft 365 groups, don't worry, they won't be able to do that from the app bar. It will honor that. And then for everyone that might be having an internal conversation with themselves about, I sure hate that app bar, I wish we could get rid of it. We don't have options around it, not yet. The top icon though on that app bar can be used as a global navigation. So kind of keep that in mind. You do have a little bit of configurations around the first icon and how that gets utilized. I don't know why I'm so excited about this, but I am. Whiteboards are now files. Not that we weren't files before, but they actually are .whiteboard files that are stored in OneDrive and SharePoint. So when you launch Whiteboard on your desktop and you start modifying, it'll actually provision a Whiteboard folder in your OneDrive, and that file is actually located there. And you can move that file around just like any other file. I like it. So Rob likes it too.
It's a net new file type for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I dig it. Comments around stream videos and audio players are coming in SharePoint. So if you guys remember, you can actually store obviously audio and video in SharePoint. It was using the stream video player from within SharePoint. Now the comments capability is coming. SharePoint syntax has some site templates available to you now. So for those that wanted to kind of launch pad the use of syntax within your environment, there's now a contracts management SharePoint site template. And for you, for those listening that may not know what syntax is, this was our ability to create a model and have that model extract data from documents when uploaded into SharePoint. So kind of the easiest use case would be, let's say, I don't know, invoices or contracts. When you upload that document to a SharePoint document library, syntax model will actually look and scrub that document and extract who the customer was, the contract date, summary details, who the account rep was, and etc., and utilize that to populate metadata in a SharePoint document library. This is a big deal, right? We've had metadata in document libraries for years and years, and the number one issue that we've always had is, let's say it together, adoption. It's always been the issue. So syntax is doing the adoption of metadata for us. And we've done multiple labs for multiple clients around the power of syntax. It's actually really cool. Okay, Teams conversations coming to the office.com search results, as well as SharePoint's enterprise search results. So you'll now get a search scope called conversations, and you can actually access the conversations from there. And then lastly, SharePoint team sites that are associated to a team. So, right, so SharePoint team sites that have been teamified. There are unique templates around those sites, and they slightly look a little bit different. So we're a little bit more aware that they're associated to a team on the other side of the fence. So pretty cool updates coming from SharePoint.